Hey everybody, this is Vince Gilligan, one of the executive producers of Better Call Saul, and this is episode 208 entitled Fifi.
And this is Tom Schnauz, the writer of this episode.
And Dave Porter, music composer for the series.
And Bob Odenkirk, I play Jimmy McGill. Who directed this?
Larissa Kondracki. And this wonder you're watching is entirely her conception. It was not written this way. She came in and pitched to Vince and Peter and all of us that she wanted to do this great Touch of Evil-esque wonder to start this episode.
And she crushed it. And that line of trucks just passed now. After maybe a truck or two behind our hero ice cream truck are all digitally created. That roof on the that roof over the toll booth looking thing there is completely ones and zeros. It doesn't exist in the real world. It's just ones and zeros in a computer. The real part of that is the sort of beige looking uprights. And it's just an astounding thing she pulled off with the help of our amazing crew.
Our amazing crew, including a camera operator, Paul Donahue, who was on a Steadicam, was on a crane, on a Chapman crane that went up over the entryway, and now he got onto another vehicle that's following this police car here with the flashing lights.
Is he on like an ATV now?
Yeah, it's a four-wheeled thing, and there's a platform on the front that he's standing on. So he got off the crane and stepped onto this, and then the driver takes him right into the bay here.
There's so much to talk about with this. This is the Double Eagle Airport, which is west, maybe 10, 12 miles sort of west-northwest of Albuquerque. And as the camera was following that car with the blinking lights in, off to the right is the Double Eagle Airport control tower, which is 40, 50, 80 feet tall.
Digitally erased.
Had to be digitally erased. Don't look for it because you're not going to see it. It's digitally erased. Here's a little hint. Look at that. There's a little... so the toll booth out there is still digitally created, but see that hangar off to the left, the far left? Mm-hmm. If you look real close at the beginning of the shot, that hangar's not there.
It was erased, yeah.
It was erased, and then
are we giving away our cut point?
Oh, yeah, give away the cut point.
Cut point is you're about to see these guys walking by right there.
Boom.
That's the one cut in this tracking shot. For lighting reasons, Arthur Albert, our amazing DP, just needed a cut point to get into this truck because it was so dark in here that we needed to do a lighting adjustment so that the opening of the tracking shot is the beginning of the day. This particular shot takes place at the end of the day as the sun's going down, so our effects guys had to work some real magic to match the two together. It's just, I can't even understand how they do it. It's
I don't
just
know how
amazing.
they did it. There's so much to talk about with this shot. I think we're also going to have an extra, a little bit of a documentary about how this was done. But Bill Pulowski, our visual effects supervisor, worked closely with Larissa and with all of us to help, to create like that awning over the toll booth, to erase the air traffic control tower, all that kind of stuff.
We saw Manuel Ariza at the beginning, but I feel like this is our real introduction to him getting in on his face like this, and he's great.
Manuel's a great guy. He did such a great job. I had such a good time directing him in episode 10. Very, very sweet gentleman and a fine actor.
Oh, the ladies loved him.
Yeah, the ladies loved him. Yeah, that's true. That is true.
And then, of course, this great continuous shot all the way up to the popsicle coming out of the box. We have Dave Porter's amazing music driving this whole scene. It's just...
You kicked butt with this. How is this one of the longest pieces of music you've ever done for either show? Breaking Bad.
It'll be the second longest, second only to Dead Freight.
The train robbery
episode
of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, we spent a long time on this piece. Our producer in post, Diane Mercer, warned me about this the first day I showed up for the job. That we knew this scene was coming. We didn't know there was going to be a licensed piece of music or score. But we knew it was going to need something, and it was going to have to be something we took a lot of care to work on. And I think the really important thing for us and for me when I was working on it is to really make this scene about our driver character here, even though we don't, it seems like it's about so much more than him. What clued me in on how to approach this was how you guys talked about him and his nonchalance, his absolutely like just normal day for him, absolutely nothing to worry about, even though he's doing something obviously very, very criminal and potentially dangerous to him. And it's a set piece musically, certainly not connected to the rest of the score for the series, and rightly so. It stands on its own.
Beautiful music. How long did it take to write this one? Do you remember?
Couple weeks.
Back
and forth.
I believe
different
it.
changes. Yeah.
Really impressive. Yeah. Just an impressive shot. We could talk all day about this.
We could rewind it and go through that whole
sequence.
thing. Yeah,
But,
just so complex, but great fun.
Beautifully done. And it went on actually longer. When he puts his popsicle in his mouth, it actually, in the original, it goes on for another 2 minutes. Or no, maybe another
minute.
Maybe not 2
or
minutes,
so,
another minute.
following the truck as it drives away.
But we figured that was probably a good cut point.
Back to a.
When you do music like that, do you first just sample stuff and try it and say like this, or do you start creating something?
On this one, I had the benefit of some experiments that our music supervisor, Thomas Golovich, had tried of existing music.
Yeah.
So I at least had kind of narrowed down what was in a sphere of what would work. But the problem with the most licensed music like that was that it didn't evolve enough over that length of time. So that was the big challenge, I think. It's really making a piece that was simple, but still evolved enough and kept you interested in enough over that much time, which is pretty unusual for what I do in terms of writing music for TV. We don't often do pieces of music that last that long.
Yeah, and I was talking earlier to these guys about how great the music was when I entered Davis and Maine. That piece that you came up with for the greeting the people in that office and walking around and seeing that. It's just really an amazing piece of work.
Thank you, sir. I really
it's like a
enjoyed
dream, and it does feel kind of like a dream. I know it's a different episode, but yeah.
That was Dave's a man. We're so lucky to have Dave and Thomas, and so much of the wonderful thing they do is know when not to have music, but when Dave's writing music, it's fantastic and it sticks with you, just sticks in your head. So that doghouse, how are the hot dogs there? We've been there so many times.
That was not a special effect. They did eat all those hot dogs.
You did.
I mean, I like a good hot dog once in a while. They're fine hot dogs.
At 2 a.m.
But I don't need a chili dog.
Yeah.
That's always seemed one step too far to me.
Chili dog.
Yeah.
Well, when you're 9, it's fine. When you turn 24, your body goes, okay.
Is that the cutoff point? 24?
No, your body says, okay, you got a few more of these left.
Okay, gotcha.
I really hope Patrick Fabian appreciates that over a scene we're talking about hot dogs.
Yes. Who is fantastic in this scene.
He is great. I love Patrick in this scene. And, of course, I love Ray, goes without saying. And I love you in the last scene. We are so lucky to have you guys. What a deep bench of actors.
How great is Fabian in this role?
He's great.
So good.
When he's happy for people, he's genuine. I mean, he's got this crazy mix of energy where when we first met him, everybody thought he was the evil bad guy.
Yeah.
Just clearly, there's no question.
Yeah.
And then without any effort at all, you guys slide like depth and humanity into him.
With Patrick,
and
that's really hard.
Perfectly fine.
With Patrick, that's hard.
Because Patrick is famously the sweetest guy in Hollywood.
He really is. And he makes pickles, homemade pickles.
He brings you homemade pickles.
And they're delicious.
He does every charity event that he can possibly do.
Yeah.
He is in incredible shape. He does marathons and golf outings, and he's got great kids. He's the sweetest guy on earth.
Very sweet guy. And he is excellent in this scene. I love this. I love when he's talking.
He did make my baby throw up, though.
He made the baby throw up.
Put my
too much charity work.
My son on a swing out in the sun and kept pushing him until he threw up. So I was like,
wow.
So anyway, he makes pickles. It's good.
Well, I
do love how you guys gave him like this little tinge of remorse and backstory in this scene that we've never seen.
I do too.
Yeah, it's his first mention.
Just
of
a
the
little
father.
touch of it, but it's he really says so much with it.
That right there of I wish I that wistful melancholic kind of what could have been kind of a thing. I agree completely. He does. He plays that.
You guys might be embarrassed by this, and he is wonderful. But because I knew, if I'm not mistaken, the backdrop outside the window is the Hollywood Hills.
It is. We talked about that, and it's worth saying again. We talked about it last week in another. I can't remember what episode, but you're right. And not only that, it's from Mad Men. It's from the TV show Mad Men. It's a giant photo of 1960s Hollywood Hills, and they used it on Mad Men. I couldn't find
my house in it.
This young lady did a nice job. Julie's the character name. Audrey Moore did a nice job. She was in another episode too. I love Ray. Ray was running her. She's going for it here.
Going
high
full
heels.
Blast here. I was worried.
And then she's running on a platform there, right?
Yeah, Larissa wanted to get her up, kind of
just Kilroy,
just Kilroy style. See the eyes over the. So the dividers were a little too high, and so we put a platform there that she ran on, and then our dolly grip Jax had to push this dolly and then stop. This thing is picking up speed and is heavy, and he had to stop it from going through the wall of this track. I mean,
Jax is really good.
Yeah, he is great.
Because that damn dolly weighs like, I don't know, 250, 300, maybe 400 pounds. I don't know how much that thing weighs.
Once
it's
that
heavy.
Thing picks up speed, it's
You guys have already talked about this ice cream place, right?
So let's talk about some more.
Well, because I've never been there. They have like 2 or 3 locations in Albuquerque. This is the original location, is it?
I don't know the answer to that, but it is not in real life called El Griego Guiñador, but and I'm drawing a blank now on the real name, but by all means go eat there. It is the ice cream. Go visit it, patronize it. The ice cream is delicious.
Yeah. There's at least 2 locations.
Yeah.
And the Sabrosito mascot was modeled after my scrotum. So
Is it now?
How long did that take?
They do a mold. It was, I squat in a plastique for.
You keep
plastique
moving,
is
it's
explosive. Don't squat in plastique.
Anyway,
I don't know. I'm thinking you erased some of the wrinkles.
No, I'm smooth like a cue ball. Anyway, this is adults only for this DVD, guys. Okay, get the kids out of the room.
Oh God!
Important to remind people of that after. A little late. Talk about your story.
They got to learn somehow. Anyway, here's Jonathan Banks.
We'll never get tired of seeing him stalk people.
Or Tom Scrotum. I love this car. What? I can't remember.
It's a beauty.
Yeah, this is. I cannot remember what kind of car this is. But Dennis Milliken, our transportation captain, he and his team found this, and it seemed like the right car for Hector here. So all that paint job, all that wonderful mural, that's all came with the building. Yeah. The only thing we put up was our art department put up was the great sign that they created up on top, up on the roof. But all
here
this
we've got an evolution of music that we've been doing for Mike all season. That getting close here to the end of the season to its culmination, but very dark and purposeful on his part.
This is an unusual shot. I don't know. Have we ever done a looking straight into the camera shot like this before?
We've done a couple of them, but very rarely. And I love how she did that. Larissa Kondracki, who directed, what episode was it last year?
107.
107, which
the one
is
where Jim, you wanted to get the office, and
yes, that great scene at the end where you kind of kick the hell out of the door and slide.
Because I'll do that anytime. You can write that into every episode. Odenkirk punches the wall, kicks the door, breaks a window.
But that was some great acting in that one. Larissa, really, I love her compositions. She always has an interesting place to put the camera. She always says she's got a very unique eye.
Great dynamics.
Yes. This is a restaurant. Where is this? It's a Knob Hill in Albuquerque.
It's central out there.
Yeah, I don't know
that one. Elaine's? Is that the name?
Yes,
of it? Elaine.
Good memory.
Yeah, I wanna try it.
It's a popular one.
Yeah.
Elaine's.
Well, I always think of Elaine's. I think of the famous one in New York City.
Yes.
There's a big E on the wall back there for right, Elaine.
Yes. And those 2 actors who play Kevin and Paige always do wonderful.
Rex Lynn and
Kara Pifko.
Yeah,
they always do a great job. And now here's the first time. I think we talked about this. We record these audio commentaries out of order, so we might have talked about this place. Peter Gould and I might have talked about it a little. But this is the first time we see their soon-to-be new office. And
it's a real dentist office, right?
It's a real something. I
don't think it was a dentist office.
I'm not sure. Yeah. Wait.
We found those chairs and put them in there.
Yes, you're right.
How? By the way, in another one that you weren't on, another audio commentary, we were talking about how heavy these chairs really are because you and Ray are loading the chair under the dolly.
Right.
How heavy is it? It looked pretty heavy the way you guys were doing it.
Yeah, well, it's meant to be heavy so you can't tip over when you're in it.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes
I don't know.
sense.
It was really heavy, but Ray's strong.
And
She compensated for me.
Ray and Bob, you guys are so good in this scene together. I love when she lights up.
She's a ton of fun to work with. She's a lot of fun.
The real estate agent was Sherman Allen. He did a nice job.
Yeah, he's great.
I love her turn here. I love this smile. It hadn't happened yet. I got distracted. She is so cute. She's the turn after Sherman leaves here. The slow burning smile she is just. How can you not root for Kim? I love this.
You gotta.
This is so nice. I love this. I don't know what it is. We got something going on with all our locations, either the ones we find or the ones we build with the glass, the Miami Vice mid-'80s era glass blocks.
It just makes me think of every recording studio ever built in the 1980s.
Yeah.
We wanted this type of layout where the two offices mirrored each other, and those doors that they've come out in were not there originally, or we moved one of the doors. I was like, this is a real location. I was like,
it's
really?
Not a set, right?
No, it's not.
This is a real location. That's
and they let us move a whole doorway.
That's right, because it wasn't on a load-bearing wall.
That people let us some of the things they let us do in their locations.
That's true. We've been very blessed. We've been rented locations from some very nice folks over the years in Albuquerque. And later on in this episode, when we see her sitting glumly outside of the place, that's the outside of this actual place, which most people would say, yeah, so what? But most of the time, the indoor doesn't match the outdoor when you're shooting.
You have to go somewhere else.
Yeah, oddly enough.
For just what you want.
Yeah.
And this
Bob, I love your relief here when you realize you're not going to have to fight with her to convince her. That's so great.
And this scene went on. This scene got a little racier when Bob and Ray climbed into the dentist chair. But
you cut it off?
This episode was so long.
That's right. We got a little sexy, didn't we?
It got a little sexy. But actually, as much as I liked all that, it worked better going from the let's do it to Chuck here, the great Michael McKean.
The great Michael McKean, and then Ernesto Brandon Hampton. That's right. And as back to the set to finish up with the sex scene, it's better to have more footage than you need in the editing room and cut it down to size and to time. And like Tom said, we were
sometimes it's
really
really painful, but sometimes it's just you just see it's kind of humbling as a writer to realize what. You struggle over all this dialogue and all these scenes, and it's like the audience is going to need this to know this and that, and then you get in the editing room, it's like, oh, you don't need this, and just cut it out. It's like, wow, it's like all the stuff that you thought you needed, just goes away.
And
it makes sense.
My little movie that I made, that I wrote,
the
first cut was 95 minutes. My cut was 65 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I took 30 minutes out of it.
Wow.
It's so much more fun. It's going to be a fun little movie. But anyway,
is that she's pooling her resources.
These guys are great together.
Yeah. Look who shows up.
Great lighting here. I love the two shot on the side where they're.
I was just going to say the one coming up.
Yes.
Arthur Albert is so good. He's our cinematographer. We talked about him. Look at that.
And this is a split screen right now because we lost some dialogue.
Right.
And it's just amazing that we needed
change the timing between the two actors in the one shot.
Timing.
Yeah.
We needed
What did you do, Tom?
Hamlin to sit down and off of Chuck's reaction. There was Patrick had a couple more lines there. Again, it's all information that we thought we needed when we did the script, but honestly, it was just kind of
Yeah, because it's all about Chuck and his thoughts and his brain turning. He's really. This is amazing. This is where I thought that Jimmy would be hated at the end of this season. I really thought people would just start to hate him. Yeah, because what he does to his brother. But Chuck is just.
And the lines we lost in that scene, because there was some commentary. I did some interviews and people asked me about, did Hamlin purposely not tell Chuck that Kim and Jimmy are partners but not really partners, that they're separate. And those are the lines we lost. And so people started having these theories that Hamlin did it on purpose. And I had to say I had to say no, we lost it because it just to move the scene along and help for time.
It flowed better without it. Yeah, but that's a very But then people started reading into that, like, oh, he's doing this to manipulate Chuck, and that was not our intention. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and before we get too far past talking about editing, Skip McDonald and his assistant Curtis Thurber edited this episode. And when you talk about stuff like that, split screen, we just say, gee, wouldn't it be nice if he said this at this certain moment, but we could stay in the wide shot? Mm-hmm. And then Skip is like, zing, 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 and suddenly it's working. It's happening. Yeah. He's a genius.
And Skip is a genius. But honestly, that split screen, I believe, was Curtis's idea. So
was it?
Yes,
thank
you, Curtis. It was...
Well, he Skip trained Curtis very well, and now Curtis is an editor in his own right. This is a great shot, techno crane, right?
Yes,
is that?
Yeah.
I love how this is. So it's basically the techno crane.
Straight up and down, and they pulled it back and kind of maneuvered it through the doorway. Wow. It's a very tight space there. That's a real location, and getting a crane in there was not simple. This is another great Michael McKean scene, and Patrick too. I love Patrick in this.
All four of these guys are great. Rex and Kara, all four of these guys are wonderful.
Just subtly show, not overdoing it with the lights in the foreground, but showing that here's Chuck amongst electricity.
Yeah,
and he's putting on the performance of his life here.
Absolutely, it's one thing, and we were talking a little while ago about Larissa being such a wonderful shot maker, but it's for all the folks out there who want to direct. It's not just about coming up with great shots. The best great shots are the ones that also tell the story. So, like Tom was saying, that shot down the pipe there, down that row of lighting, is an important thing. Like, I'm just repeating what Tom just said, but that's part of the story. This guy is allergic to electricity, and yet here's a whole ton of it right here. So that a great shot without any storytelling purpose is not necessarily a great shot. It's just show offy. I love the way Michael plays.
This was also a big shout out to one of our writers' assistants, Ariel Levine, for helping all this stuff that's coming out of Chuck's mouth.
With the legalese?
Yeah, I saw this boilerplate.
I did some research. Some of mine made it in there, but she did a lot of great research and really made this sound much more real and complex.
You guys don't have a lawyer in the writing room.
We don't know.
We have some help, and Gordon Smith knows his stuff, and his sister Leah is a lawyer in North Carolina. She's been very helpful. But Ariel's going to be running Hollywood in about 5 years. She's so great, and she helps so much with all this stuff. Because how do you find all this stuff? I wouldn't even know where to begin. All the
Regal Neal, all that.
Regal Neal,
business.
All that's so. And you got a big Twitter presence, Tom. Do you hear from folks saying, "Oh man, you got all that banking shit right"? You hear from that, folks?
Banking community has not reached out to me yet, Vince.
Is this more about your scrotum? Is that what it is? Is it most of what the Twitter feed is?
That's right. That's right. A lot of private pictures. A lot of tasteful selfies.
Don't hide your light under a bushel, my friend. Don't use that private function.
Part of what I love about this scene is it's a glimpse of the lawyer that Chuck probably was.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we haven't seen. Him at his prime, at his most powerful, confident.
Yeah, this was the last scene that I worked on because it was just like, I don't know any of this stuff. And again, Ariel and Vince, went through the scene and really, made it shine.
I like what Kara's doing here because she has very little to say. I mean, you've given her very little to say, but you can still see what she's thinking. She
sees the manipulation happening. Yeah. It's her boss. She can't say, she's got
to keep a smile on her face, and she can't. But I love the way she played that. That's, again, to point out the obvious, but for folks starting out. Folks listening to this want to be actors, and obviously Bob should be to speak to this. But so much of acting is what you're doing when you're not talking.
Well, you stay.
This reaction from Patrick is awesome.
Yeah, that's a great reaction from Patrick. Another case in point. People think sometimes when you're starting off as an actor, and again, I'm talking like I know, and I'm not an actor, but I see it a lot. Sometimes bad acting is when someone, their face turns off and their brain turns off, and all they're doing is waiting for their next time to talk. The real acting is going on when you're not talking. So don't let your face
you
to
stay
brain
in the
turn
moment.
off.
Yeah. Oh, look, Ernie's right
Here comes
there.
Ernie.
Oh, he's such an upbeat guy. He's such a sweetheart.
Brandon's a good guy. I had fun directing him too in 210. He's a good guy. Okay.
Here we are for
Here's
the
the
title of
big
the
deal.
episode.
So much to talk
Fifi.
about
So
here.
much to talk about. Start with, you want to start with talking about this plane, Vince?
This plane, this is, again, the Double Eagle Airport. This was all in one run, the border crossing stuff. Believe it or not, this is the same place the border crossing was shot at, just in the background there, right, behind those buildings.
That's right.
And this is...
This morning we started the day with Larissa with a giant map planning out how the border crossing was going to go, and then we came over here and shot this scene.
Oh, that's my friend Steve Stafford's the Huey that he operates, the Huey in the back right. Shout out to Steve Stafford. Steve Stafford played a DEA agent in the background behind Betsy Brandt in the very last episode of Breaking Bad. You see him out the window behind Betsy when Marie is having her final phone conversation with Skyler. And so he's flying the Huey that comes up, that crosses over through frame in a few minutes here.
That's the story, right, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, sir, this certainly must bring back some memories for you.
As the young captain explains, this truly is, everything he's saying is correct. This is the last airworthy B-29 Superfortress in the world. It is indeed named Fifi. It does live in Texas, and big thanks to the Commemorative Air Force chapter in Texas that operates this aircraft. They got it flying. It was in a boneyard. And in around about 1970, 71, these guys got this thing flying again at great effort and expense. And you can ride in this. I recommend it highly. You're going to look at the ticket price and you're going to say, shit, that's a lot of money. I'm telling you, a bargain at twice the price. If this ever visits an airport near you, for an air show or whatnot, and you see it in the paper, you look it up online, and you say, hey, I can go visit this aircraft. And if you can't afford a ticket to ride in it for 20 minutes or so, at least go out to the airport, take pictures with it, tour it when it's on the ground. That's my friend Steve. It's a piece of living history. These guys are all volunteers. They don't make any money off this personally. It's a mitzvah. It's a wonderful thing they're doing, keeping this aircraft flying and keeping this bit of history alive. This is the aircraft, not the aircraft, but this is the model of bomber that dropped the atomic bomb, the two atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the B-29. Not this very one, but the same model. And it's living history.
It looks so impressive how it's shot, but I can imagine in person it must be just monstrous.
It's amazing.
And I heard one of the guys talking about how they incredibly dangerous to be a part of one of those crews because those things just lumbered across the sky and could get shot down very easily.
This one came in at the end of the war. This was the first pressurized bomber. The B-17s, the B-25s, those were unpressurized. I think they were a little more dangerous. This one flew so high that it didn't have as much. But yes, absolutely, not to take anything away. Everything, these guys, they really were the greatest generation, the guys who flew these things. They really, men and women. Women would ferry these from the factory, so there were women pilots as well. But they really were the greatest generation. But I'm rambling on. I could talk all day about this, but talk about the guy who plays Fudge.
Oh, Robert Grossman. He did it. You guys are all so funny in this scene.
You guys are so great.
Josh
in this scene.
Fadem is the camera guy, and Julian Bonfilio is the sound guy. We have a lot of fun working together. And this guy, Robert Grossman, real cool dude. A lot of fun to work with.
He auditioned for episode 203 as one of the guys on the bus, and he did this crazy audition where he had these sunglasses on, and he's ripping them off and looking at camera like, "What? Who is this guy?" This is one of the strangest auditions we've ever seen. We got to use him in something. We didn't want to waste him in that scene. We thought we need something special for him.
Robert's
so
great. He's so
when this
wonderful.
this idea to come up to use the bomber came up, we thought, okay, we need a public masturbator. He's the guy.
We should
talk
also
about the captain. Yeah,
we have to talk about the captain.
Brendan Fair saved our asses.
Saved our asses. Talk about that. Yeah.
Ryan Ahern was the original Air Force captain. Great guy.
Great guy.
So up for it, ready to rock. Actor from L.A. Came out and got some version of food poisoning and altitude sickness after we shot the first wide shot.
Yeah, that wide shot where the helicopter flies overhead, that is him.
That's a different
Ryan.
actor.
That's
a
Ryan,
different captain. Yes.
running
Ryan.
in that scene, and then because he rehearsed it, and we ran back and forth a bunch of times, which did not help his condition. And he got violently ill, and he went down, and our medical staff advised us that he can't continue.
He might have been a little dehydrated.
And
Dehydrated.
you guys had to find Brendan, shoot all the stuff with me and this crew.
Brendan?
While you found Brendan in
Yes.
town, he came, somebody about the same height, same look.
Same build.
Brendan works on a show called Night Shift that also shoots in Albuquerque, and he's a friend of a lot of the crew knew him because a lot of our crew, when we're not shooting Better Call Saul, shoot on that show. And
Robin Sweet, Melissa Bernstein tracked him down, did some hellaciously amazing producing.
yeah, got him in because we started auditioning one of the other guys in the line there. We were just like, who could fill in for this role at the last minute? And he came in, not having seen the script before that day, and then just.
And again, I just want to make
I thought we were done.
I want to make everyone explicitly understand we were standing around on a film set with a bomber that was only going to be there one time at a place we could only afford to be there that one day for that particular scene. And this guy, God bless him, he showed up within an hour and a half, 2 hours of being called. Was in the guy's clothes. Was in the costume, and luckily it fit him. I mean, it was amazing.
Did a great
and he
job.
did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he just came in and just.
Ryan Ahern would have done a great job.
Yes, no,
if
he was.
hadn't gotten-
He would have too, and he was doing a great job.
Yeah, he was doing great, and he had a great audition, and it was great on the rehearsals. And unfortunately, and hopefully we get to use him again somewhere else.
Absolutely, would love. But God bless you, Brendan and Ryan. Don't feel bad. Shit happens. I've been dehydrated twice in Albuquerque. I just wanted to put a bullet in my head. Being dehydrated is like the worst fucking feeling. It's just
it happened to my son too last time he was there. It was horrible.
It's a terrible feeling. It's like the worst hangover you've ever had, but you're just nauseated, and you start pounding water, and even then it takes like six
forever,
or
right?
7
You'd have
hours
to get an IV to
Yeah.
really change it up.
Yeah, it's miserable.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But all you guys were so funny in that.
Well, these scenes are so
Great
fun to do. It's fun to do this kind of scene, especially with Ray. She's so good and honest and down to earth and great. And then it's fun to do those comedy scenes, like working with the plane. I love that stuff, you guys. It's like, it's just a great mix of stuff that I get to do. No one gets to do what I get to do.
Bob reacting here is key for me. That's a lot of people wonder what, is he just helping out Kim, or is he doing it because he heard about Chuck?
Yeah.
Chuck was involved in stealing this thing, so that was an important moment.
That nice little look you give, that secret look you give, Bob.
Yeah,
That's great. Yeah. I love this sequence too. I love the shooting here. I love the. Where is this? It's along a river. It looks like a dry river. Or
There's
something.
a dry river bed, or
like a big culvert or ditch or whatever, drainage. Yeah.
They just shuffle me around, Vince, and tell me where to go. I don't know where this is.
Okay. And I love talking about the music, Mr. Porter. It's wonderful music
this
here.
is a continuation of the earlier cue from when he began his stalking our Mike Airman Trout.
Love
and
that shot.
this kind of fleshes out the story, and it also fleshes out the cue into something that's a little more elaborate. And it actually culminates in Vince's episode, the final episode, when we see this cue reappears for the last time when Mike is following the van out to the desert. in episode 210.
What is the instrumentation? I'm sounding like I know what I'm talking about. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. What are the instruments being used in?
It's a lot of what I call like classic rock palette,
Okay.
which is a lot of guitars, bass guitars, hand drums here.
Like what's that thing right up now? I'm hearing.
That's a vintage synthesizer from the late 1980s.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I
cool.
have a big collection of those kinds of things.
Wow. And here's a very much a layperson's question, but I think of computers being able to do anything now. I picture a synthesizer a modern synthesizer being able to sample and then recreate any sound. So what is the purpose of using the original instrument? Is it because my assumption is wrong? You can't truly get that authenticity of creating it on a computer?
Well, yes. I mean, I think that no matter what, the computer is, or at least not yet, can't be a human.
Yeah.
So if there's a I much prefer to use synthesizers, ironically, and this is why I use older ones more often than newer ones, because they are an instrument in their own right.
Okay.
They're not trying, well, they may have been trying at that time to emulate an existing sound.
Right.
But the truth is it was terrible at it, and it was its own thing. And so all those old synthesizers have their own character, they have their own sound and things that they do, and they're kind of unique instruments. But yeah, no, for me, if we're going to use a saxophone, or like in the beginning, the opening sequence, we had a big rock horn trio for the back half. Those are all real guys.
Good. I
sure.
love that.
Yeah, it makes all the difference.
Good.
You did good, Ernie. Thanks.
I love that shot that just went past of exterior looking over the roof down onto Jimmy's car. That was a shot. Larissa always can be counted on to find a shot no one else has found, even at a location that's been shot a million times before. That was a great shot. So what's it like working with Larissa on the set, Tom? Because you spent the whole shoot with her?
Yeah, no, she's awesome. Very, she's open to input and, wants to hear ideas and just very inventive. She just feels like she just knows what she wants. So it's a great help,
Nice.
I know you guys often pair up writers and directors. Did you work with her last season also?
I did not. No,
Okay.
This is my first time.
That was it? Shoot, who was it last year? Was it Jenny or was it Gordon?
I believe it was Jenny.
Jenny, yeah. She's Larissa. Hopefully, she'll be doing.
And that was the first time Larissa.
Last year,
for you guys last year.
So this is her second episode. Hopefully, she'll be doing more for us. That's completely up to her because we are living in a time. Because we'd obviously love to have her back. We're living in a time. It's a time of feast and famine with the television. There's television business. As we record this, there's 400 scripted shows on the air, and I say on the air, on TV, on the internet, on VOD, all these things. And it's a wonderful time to be working in the TV business, but it means that wonderful directors like Larissa are so in demand that you have to book them, months and years out. You got to really, and so we're scrambling like every other show to get all the good directors we want because they're all in demand. They're all busy. Talk about this place. This is a real place.
Yeah, I love this location. Just looks just.
Although you guys brought in all the machines, right?
No, it's a real copy shop.
It's a real copy shop.
Yeah. Some of the machines.
A lot of the signage we did, and I believe some of the machines.
No, you're right, Bob. Yeah, some of them because they had to be kind of period machines.
Yeah, because
Yeah, you're right.
There's some of those are.
Now this we shot forever. this I think Larissa did the longest take ever. It was like she just let the camera run like a half an hour while Bob made all these copies.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
there's an exterior
It was like
shot.
a 40-minute thing.
Wow, really?
This shot here, she just let it roll because
you can do that with video.
Yeah, we'll do it with video.
And this music, so much to talk about here. This is Little Barry.
Who does the opening British music.
Exactly, the opening title music. And this is Little Barry and his band. And he's got a wonderful
who's
sound.
Little Barry? Is it?
I have not had the pleasure yet of meeting Little Barry, but he is a British artist. He's the guitarist. I honestly don't know if he's singing as well or if that's someone else. I think it's I don't honestly know.
I think it might be.
That might. And I apologize, Little Barry, for not knowing all this before I got into the recording studio.
Yeah,
but I know he
plays
playing
and
the guitar.
sings. Yeah, this is him.
Oh, okay.
I could say 100%.
So he's a current remotely working artist.
He lives in the UK, and I hope we get to meet him one of these days. But he's very, very talented, and his guitar, the sounds that come out of that guitar of his are so hooky. They stick in your head like they've been riveted there. I mean, I love I love the way he plays. And we should talk about Curtis Thurber, who edited this montage. Skip
so there's
McDonald's
the shot.
assistant.
There's the shot that took 40 minutes right there.
Yeah. That outside one. Yeah.
I just did the job. I just did this work.
Did you have to go to the bathroom at a certain point? You say, I
didn't. I did the whole 40 minutes. I could have gone longer. I could have done this. My dad did stuff like this. It's very weird to think about. He used all that kind of those tools. He had those.
What do you mean?
He made business forms for hospitals and companies. That's what he did, because now you can do that stuff on a computer. You could do it at home. But back then, if a big company, this is so fucking boring.
No, it's interesting. I didn't know what your dad did.
This is what he did. He had these huge light boards, and he had this massive camera inside a huge dark room, probably the size of this room that we're in. And he would design business forms for your company, whatever, big companies, hospitals. They want it the way they want it.
Wow.
And then he would take, cut stuff out and paste it over and use this.
I had no idea.
Crazy equipment from Germany, all these huge.
Wow.
Just very precise pieces of equipment, and then he would put it on photographic paper, and then he would take it into this big camera and shoot it, and then I guess it could go to the printers. And,
wow. So what was the name of? He was a.
I can't remember the name of his company, but he.
Wow.
He was very good at it. If he didn't drink too much, he would have been fine.
Well, you must have been thinking about your dad when you're doing all that.
I sure was. Yeah, we had those knives all over.
The X-Acto knives?
Yeah, because he'd be chopping stuff up. And
there was just a ton. I mean, just so much footage. I mean, for Curtis and our editing staff to go through all that and really distill it down to just I just love that montage. This is the music and all the visuals just work.
So much to talk about that we weren't able to talk about. Alicia Yoff, who played the copy shop guy, who we're going to see more of.
Oh, great!
He did a great job. He does even more. And he does remind me of you, Dave. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was hoping to avoid this conversation. I have heard this from several people.
Why? What is it? Is it his attitude?
You're two good-looking men. What's the matter with that? It is
Vince,
weird, though.
His attitude?
No.
It's just the look
physically, he looks like Dave to me.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it is weird when I have it happen all the time when people tell me, "Oh, there's a guy who looks exactly like you," and then I see him, I'm like, and it's not that they're. It's weird because in that moment it's like, is this what you think I look like? And it's not even that people are bad looking or good looking or anything. It's just different.
It's a realization. That's how other people see you.
Yeah,
I get the Clooney.
Because when I saw that actor, I never would have crossed my mind in years until someone says it.
Yeah.
And then you really evaluate it, right? And you look and say, okay.
No, it has. Believe me, it's happened to me.
Yeah.
Kim brought it to you on a red velvet pillow. I need a shower.
Can we talk about how they lit the hair?
Wait, can we talk about why you gave Chuck this line that's coming up right here?
If the same situation was reversed.
Yes.
To make you feel bad, right? Well, not you, but Jimmy, right?
Part of it, yeah. But I feel like he means it.
Does he mean it?
I think he. I mean, when I wrote it, I believed he did. I think he.
I hope you know that I would do the same for you.
I think so too.
No, he's never said anything like that, and he never will again.
No, he said, you're my brother, and I love you. And in an earlier episode, I think he's really appreciative that you, in this moment, you came to look over.
Every once in a while, there's a ray of sunshine in his.
You know what it is? Head. You know what it is? It's something you're saying earlier. When you're talking about Patrick's character, Howard. But it's like nobody is any one thing. The worst people in the world have some good in them. The best people in the world have some bad.
Hitler was a vegetarian.
Yeah. I don't know if I count that as being a good thing, but whatever. I like hamburgers too much. How cute is this little girl?
Abigail Lewis is our Kaylee.
She is so cute. She reminds me of Ariel.
And Jonathan Banks threatens to punch her. in the scene.
Yeah, I know.
That's not scripted. That was his choice to do that.
Well, this was the take where he didn't actually punch her. That's why we use this one. Yeah.
You guys did that digitally. You took the punch
You
out.
took the punch out digitally. She is so cute, though. And so people are watching this like, what the hell? Why is this such a cute domestic scene? What is the point here? And then you get to the point at the end. I love.
This is the first time Mike speaks at the episode, which was a relief for me, not having to bother with Jonathan Banks. What a pain in the ass he is.
And look, the little girl, she's a really good little actress, but I think she honestly is not acting here. I think she's having fun using the drill.
As much as we fret over editing, there's like some big continuity errors
look
in here,
at
which
his
is
hand
just
suddenly
his
not on
hands,
the
and you
drill.
don't notice it. It's
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. The rhythm of the maybe some people do. Maybe you're out there and you say I saw it, but a bunch of people watch this and don't notice the enormous continuity errors here. It's just the flow of the scene. Yeah. You don't see it.
Now, was that bad acting on Jonathan's part, Bob, that he couldn't keep his hand on the drill like he was supposed to? He had to make everybody work harder.
Carrie Condon.
Carrie Condon's great.
Marks every C1/4 inch. Then Papa put a piece of wood down so he doesn't ruin his table. Then we line up a drill, put the hole in the
I like how she does that thing with her hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because it's going to go by so quick, I love talking about how cool it is to have Cary Grant on our TV show coming up here.
Oh yeah, I love His Girl Friday. It's one of my favorite movies, and it was one of those. We get a list of movies that we can use because they're cheap or free. That's that are in the library, and we saw that on the list. So I was like, oh, we gotta get that in there.
I love Mike's taste in movies.
Yeah.
You've got to figure he's just got TCM currently tuned in on the TV. And he's as he's making his nail-studded hose to use to God knows what. Although people listening to this already know what he's going to do with this thing. But
we have some very erotic shots coming up of a man cleaning his hose, just washing his hose. Look at him.
Yeah, Friday night, washing your hose in the sink,
just rubbing it and pulling it out. It's great.
Why does he need to wash it?
Fingerprints.
Get fingerprints off. Yeah, especially the little girls, if not his. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a cool transition shot.
Yeah, I love that shot. That was a nice. See, that's good directing too. It's like, hey, let's get a shot of the soap going down the sink. It's not in the script. Like, what do you need it for? I don't know. Let's get it. Although I think she did know it was a great cut point to go to the next scene. But it's not story technically. It's not like you need that. But it's so great to have it. That's really good directing, as far as I'm concerned.
I just love this image of of him just making this weird. I think most people know what it is. He's building a spike strip, but
I don't know. Well, maybe they did.
Anyway,
looks
that's
like
the
a torture
episode.
device.
It's over.
But it was so great having Fifi in there. That bomber, that was so cool. This was a fun one for me because I got to visit the set. I seldom do, so it was great seeing you guys in action.
You got to fly in that thing.
I got actually with my friend Steve. I got to go to Albuquerque. Jen, Carol, my sister, and I got to go to Albuquerque in the Huey, which was a trip of a lifetime, a 2-day trip of a lifetime. That was awesome. But that was cool.
Awesome
so this
job,
one,
everyone.
awesome job,
Fantastic
everybody.
work, everybody.
Great one.
Great one indeed.